we should talk about the hottest game in town.
We only have 20 minutes to talk about 2 1,000,000-hour games. How are we going to do that? Which happened to be your favorite game of all time?
Yeah, well, the original was. So set it up. So you had never played a Final Fantasy game before.
Never.
It's so not the same thing. But I'm offended you would say that Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Remake are the same thing.
Same thing. Same characters, same plays, same name almost.
That's true?
Sorry.
Okay, but you had never played one before,
No.
and you're like, I'm interested in checking this out. And everybody says they're interested in checking games out. I don't know if you noticed this classic mantra on every video game podcast, like, oh, I should get back to that. I should check that out. Somehow, Haley, you managed to pause time up in Halifax, and you play all of these games. So just to be clear, you played through all of Remake?
Yeah. I love it.
That's why. How far are you in Rebirth then?
I'm like 41 hours. I'm chapter 9. Halfway through chapter 9.
Oh my god. Okay, so give me the journey of Remake first, then we'll get to Rebirth.
So yeah, I was like, oh, I might not like this. I remember I started on a plane. I on the way to GDC because I had it on my Steam Deck, and I was like, oh, like I'll try it on this plane. I'll see if I like it. But like I get nauseous on planes. Wasn't a good place to start it. So I started it, and it's almost like my brain associated feeling barfy with starting Final Fantasy VII Remake, so that I didn't touch it for a little while. It's like when you eat something you love and then you throw up right after, and then you don't want to eat that for a year. That's like kind of what happened to me for a little bit. And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to try this. I think I'll like it. And I think I will. And I gave it a college try. And after only a couple hours, I was like, okay, I really like this. And it was the character. Like the characters are great. The characters are great. I always kind of thought Cloud was like this. And that's what he is, right? He's this stoic, whatever. I'm like, oh, he's just annoying blonde twink. Like, ignore him. Like, he's so annoying. But he's doing the thing that I really like, which is he's the stoic guy who you learn to love over time. And they're very good at that. Like, Geralt comes to mind. I love the way Geralt's written. Very stoic, but he's got a kernel of, oh, don't you just want to pinch his cheeks? Like, oh, I love him. Love that guy. Like, it's that same kind of energy. And it's been really satisfying to him being the central point, and then all these characters around him is like that slowly goes over time. And that's why I really like the start of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And you guys talked about that in the deepest dive. Is like he's so chipper at the start of that. I'm like, who is this boy? He's so spunky. Like when it's the flashback with Sephiroth. Right. And I'm like, oh, he's so sweet. And that has me even more invested.
You mentioned Cloud, which is interesting because even though I love Final Fantasy VII, Cloud, almost take him or leave him is my policy.
Really? I love Cloud.
Okay, who do you think is your favorite character? Is it Cloud out of everybody?
Maybe. I mean, I know that the classic question is like, are you a Tifa or an Aerith girl? Is like that, because that was obviously the question you little boys all asked yourselves when you were young. It's like, who do you have a crush on, Tifa? Or, I can just tell that's the way the game is designed, is which girl do you like?
They're very aware of it.
That's literally the point. And it's funny, like all my friends who've played this game, they're all Aerith. They're all Aerith people, but I'm a Tifa girl. I really like Tifa. I'm curious if you're Aerith or Tifa. I can't remember you saying it in the deepest dive.
I'm a Tifa man. I'm a Tifa man myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's much more interesting, I think. And even though I think they do a lot with Aerith this time around in the remake and rebirth to add, I don't know, a little bit of depth. Like she's a little bit of a shit, you know? Like you can tell she's kind of with you a little bit, which is fun for her characterization. But yeah, Tifa's just too cool. You can't argue with that.
She's badass. She just needs her fists. Everyone else is like, here's your weapon. She's like, I have some gloves on. I'm like, that's badass. You're crazy. I'm surprised how much I like Barrett too. I didn't think I'd like Barrett as much as I do. They really expand upon him in Rebirth, obviously, with like all the Marlene and that friend. Like I just did all that stuff in 9 with like his friend he thought was missing or whatever and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, oh, this poor man. Like I'm starting to really like him too. Don't like Yuffie. She pisses me off. I don't like her at all.
Okay. She's a lot better in Rebirth than she was in the original. I ended up liking Yuffie a lot more than I thought.
I played Intermission,
but she's still...
And I still didn't really...
Oh, yeah?
I still didn't really... I don't know. She's just that... I don't like that classic, like... Ooh, like... You're not gonna believe this. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Yes. And like that can be fun. It's just not the way she's written. I just really don't. Not a fan. They're being too loosey-goosey with who's on the main cast later on in Rebirth. I kind of liked it more when it was the core, the girlies and Barrett and like, fine, little Yuffie, I guess, but like and Red 13. I do like Red 13. I like his characterization.
Okay.
But not a fan of Yuffie, not a fan of Kate Sith, which maybe
I
don't know.
No, that's not. There's nothing less controversial than saying I don't like Yuffie and Kate Sith. Like they are not popular. We haven't talked about the Biggie, the most important character in the entire Final Fantasy VII universe at this point. But do you have thoughts on Roche?
Oh, yeah, because, like, that's nice to actually know why you guys yell Roche now, too, because that would just happen. I'd be like, they're having fun, yay! Like, I didn't actually know what it meant. Like, boys having fun, yay!
I don't really know what it means, ultimately.
Roche is great. More stuff like Roche, right? Like, that's just so refreshing.
Okay.
He's such a dick, but you love him. Like, that's the whole... I like that kind of stuff that just sticks out amongst... the gray of like, okay, antagonist somber, antagonist somber, antagonist somber. Yep. I ride a motorcycle and I think I want to fuck you. Like, that's like how Roche comes off. I'm like, yeah. What the hell? Like, it's very memorable and fun, and I like when they're willing to be silly like that and add a character that's just like, see you next time, wink, and like rides away, and Cloud's just like, what the hell just happened? Like, I love that kind of stuff.
Drives up a tree, like, all right, whatever you're doing, it's like, better than somebody
him
walking
and Cloud
away
to kiss. Like, I don't even care about the Aerith Tifa drama. I just want him and Cloud to kiss.
This was just a clip from our Patreon exclusive podcast called Bonus Pod. If you support MinnMax on Patreon at the $5 tier, you unlock Bonus Pod each and every week. Haley McLean is joined by cohorts to talk about whatever they want. It's kind of the sister show, the companion show to the MinnMax Show podcast. So there's even more content in here. Also, we take calls from members of the community, and we can really dive into the weeds on stuff. So if you want to more than double the amount of podcasts from MinnMax every week, support MinnMax on Patreon at the $5 tier. Thanks so much.